Here, with no hesitation, is one of the very finest films of this young decade. It is the fourth feature from criminally underseen Belgian director Bas Devos, whose work initially presented itself as these Michael Haneke-inspired portraits of violence in the modern world, but who has now broadened his horizons to mesmerizing effect. His 2014 film, Violet, was an astoundingly assured debut that's glacial, almost numbing pacing provided an introspective look at youth and trauma. His follow-up film, Hellhole, is an equally dreary film that this time was a tapestry of collective trauma amidst the aftershock of a terrorist attack. It wasn't until his third feature, Ghost Tropic, in 2019, that Devos began departing from his trauma-laden stories into this far more tender register, telling the story of an elderly immigrant woman meandering the streets of Brussels in the dead of night. Devos' latest continues that pursuit of tenderness over piercing violence, as here is about outsiders and immigrants, connection in an increasingly isolated society, the beauty of the natural world, and the comfort of a good bowl of soup. The film focuses on a Romanian construction worker, Stefan, who is spending his final moments in Brussels, soaking in its many sights and sounds, and delivering soup to those he cares about before departing to move back home. Stefan's odyssey intersects with this parallel narrative of a Belgian Chinese woman who is a doctoral student of biology and who also helps run a family restaurant on the side. The two cross paths in a chance encounter, sparking an unexpected connection, bonding over this shared alienation of two immigrants struggling to plant their roots in places not home to them. It's a very quiet little film that could be rather lazily described as minor or slight, but is anything but that. As the film finds profundity in leisurely strolls, long examinations of moss, shots of forests and cityscapes bathed in nighttime rainfall or warm sunlight, you're able to bask in the calming atmosphere of every single moment, with Devos training his camera on the little things that end up saying so much about the lives of ordinary people. It's beautifully shot on 16mm film, giving the movie this kind of texture and almost living quality to it that not only looks absolutely stunning, but also adds so much to the cozy feeling of it all. I just couldn't imagine this film being shot digitally, because so much of the magic of this work is birthed from the color and detail that only film stock could provide. There are certain shots in here that are stuck in my mind, even though on the outset they look incredibly simple and ordinary. Shots of a man and a woman sitting down conversing in a restaurant, or our protagonist rummaging through his fridge, are just rendered in such striking, unassuming ways. The film's lovely boxy aspect ratio enhances some of those sensory qualities as well, inviting the viewer into this intimate film with this much narrower scope for the viewer to see through, and it makes the film feel like a familiar little embrace. It's so hard to explain in a comprehensible way, but when you see the film, you'll know and feel exactly what I'm talking about. Both this film and Ghost Tropic feel like very pleasant detours from the occasionally calculated nature of Devos' earliest works, with the ambitious wonders found in Violet or Hellhole, which are undoubtedly impressive, now replaced by far less exacting formal techniques, ones that still reach toward the oniric without, for lack of a better term, feeling too show-offy or taking you out of the rhythm of the film. Don't get me wrong, I love a good wonder, but when a filmmaker can do more with less, it's just much more satisfying and leaves a larger impression on me as a viewer. But something that has always stood out to me within the works of Bas Devos is his incredible sound work, and this one is no different. The soft, natural soundscapes, paired with the soothing original score by Brecht Emil, work wonders here. The score especially is really lovely. It's very unassuming, never steering the audience to feel a particular way, and acting as this perfect complement to the natural sounds that dominate the auditory landscape of the film. Those sounds of trees swaying in the wind, falling rain, or trudging locomotives work beautifully in the company of Emil's graceful tones. The score even works great outside of the film as well. I hope Devos continues to work with this composer, because their work together on both this film and Ghost Tropic have made for some magical moments. Here is quite simply a luminous film, equal parts a city symphony, a celebration of the ordinary, and a look at the wonders of nature, but tackling such grand ideas with a profound restraint and sense of quietude lacking in the modern cinema today. Bas Devos has always been a vastly underappreciated filmmaker to me, someone whose work I've come to as these perceptive portraits of contemporary society that aren't ever didactic and are instead entirely experiential. I believe he has crafted his most accomplished work yet with Here, and I hope it's the one that finally puts him on the map.